Hey everyone, it's Elliot. In today's video, we are going to be making some designs based off of my liked TikTok. If you've been following the recent progression of the channel, you may realize that this is very different to what I usually do. I've been doing a thing called Design Chef. However, YouTube doesn't seem to like Design Chef. So I'm gonna go back to something that I know will work. Graphic design, the different type of design. I'm gonna be making 3 designs based off 3 TikToks that I think are just hilarious. And then we're gonna look at them. I've done one of these videos before and it was a lot of fun before I took an extended break. That break was also very fun. This is no stakes design, no more bullshit. I think every graphic designer has procrastinated on TikTok before. I think that's a very common thing to do. Maybe you've seen one of my TikToks on your For You page. That'd be cool. They're interesting. Most of the time I just hit record and then say something off the top of my head, upload it, and then it's in God's hand. But my goal here is to be your new favorite graphic design YouTuber, or one of your favorites. I have room for love in my heart. If we don't know each other, let me give you a quick introduction, by the way. I'm Elliot. Nice to meet you. That sucked so much. Elliot is a cool guy. Is my Instagram handle. That's where some of you may be coming from or know me. That's where my big audience is. I make funny graphic design stuff, making fun of the industry, poking fun at graphic designers. You know how it is. I think we all take graphic design a little bit too seriously. So these videos are in a way an extension of that. And it's just me trying to take away the pressure of design and get rid of the whole, oh, I'm going to teach you how to be a professional designer, and be like, no, you don't have to be professional. You can just have fun. And then you get really good at it. And then people pay you to be good at it. And that's awesome. So that's what it's all about. I would like to show you these TikToks that I'm a big fan of. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the best video you've ever seen. I'm manifesting it. I'm telling myself, visualize it. Best video. Here we go. Yeah, baby. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, then by all means, go for it. If that's not something you're into, that's completely fine. What am I meant to say during this part? So this is the first TikTok I would like to show you. It's from an account called Petite Sabadell. Make sure to go check them out. This is the mascot. This is the unveiling of a mascot for a bus company. So let me know. This is what I would like to make my first design on. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. This is the general vibe, though. Labusi goes on to do a few dances, and it's just a great video. The mascot is... I think there's a lot of design we can talk about in the mascot as well, with the bust lines on the body, which is pretty cool. I just love the energy that Labusi kind of exudes. But yeah, big fan of Labusi. Big fan of the whole announcement of the mascot as well. I think every bus company should have a mascot. So we're going to make a design in honor of Labusi. You might have also seen from my last TikTok video that I did them all in and also my Animal Crossing video. I like to do designs in a nice business card kind of shape. It's probably my fave layout to do. So we're going to be doing that in this as well. We're gonna have 3 nice little cards. So here we have Labusi, of course, in my Illustrator file. We'll probably be using the photo more in the later parts of the design. I would just like this to be nice and simple, and just to do a lot of type work for the Labusi, right? I think that's a beautiful kind of name, and it rolls off the tongue really nicely. So I would like to do that to start with. Now, some inspo for some type that I found very recently was in this trailer for a new A24 film called Pearl. And this title at the very end, this little title card, is so nice. You can see there's a little bit of chromatic aberration going on here with the red on the left and the blue on the right there. This blending going on is so clean. And I don't know what font this is, or maybe it's hand done, but it is divine, right? It doesn't get much better than this when you're talking about a nice script vintage feel. We're going to use this as a good starting point, and we'll see where we go. So the main thing, of course, will be finding that perfect font, right? That kind of goes along well with it. So we've got 3 fonts to choose from here. I'm a big fan of all of these, so this might be a little bit tricky, but we've got Kinescope, which is lovely, Filmotype Kitten, which is nice and thin and charming, and then finally we have Mr. Stalwart Pro, which is one that I've never used before. Let's go with the new one today, because I don't know. Why not? It's YouTube, baby. This is show business. So the first thing I wanted to do is just try and emulate that effect that I was showing you guys before. So let's just do a nice cream fill, do a little stroke here. We're getting these little overlaps here, so it looks like we're gonna have to create this as outlines, I believe, and then merge everything together just like that with the Pathfinder tool. Nice. Getting the hang of Illustrator a little bit more. Let's duplicate that layer behind, send it to the back, and then we're just gonna change the color of that back layer to a black fill as well. Blend, make, and then blend options, specified steps, and making it like 20 steps or something like that. And we have a nice smooth blend. And that's looking pretty cool. Can you imagine like this, if we tap E here, so we can kind of slant it up a little bit more and maybe squash it in a little bit there. Can we imagine if we had this here, stretching out the entire like bottom of the page like that, and then we had Labusi behind, like hanging on to the R maybe instead of hanging on to the bust thing? Can you imagine that? I can imagine it, and I'm personally thinking I think that might be the way to. I don't really see what else. That's pretty perfect to me. I'm wondering as well, maybe if we try just for fun. If we were to try like doing a 3D kind of thing instead. Because I think this is a thing that I've seen people do, right? If you have something like this and then you go into like, what, effect 3D in materials and then, I want to say revolve. Oh, okay. I don't think revolve is the way to go here. It's because the revolve angle is still so high. What if can we change it to like 10? Oh. See, that's cool, right? Like, we're getting something a little bit different than just a regular blend. Like, wow, that looks really cool. I want it to go the other way, though. That's the thing that I'll try and... I think that's to do with this, right? Oh my god. I gotta use this 3D thing more often. Either that or I have to learn Blender. And, I've tried learning Blender before. I also want to try a few of the other effects. Like, what happens if we inflate it? I mean, still, pretty cool. You can imagine, like, putting a bunch of noise on this. If we inflate both sides, what does that do? That's just... That would be strange. I imagine this would be very strange. What if we got rid of the stroke and then we just kept it as like this big? See, we got this like bubble type now. That's pretty sick. Like you can see yourself adding noise to this and giving it a little bit more texture, right? And like really playing with all that. This is really cool. These are some cool effects that we can keep in mind. Cool. Otherwise, I think we're good to go, and I think we're good to take it into Photoshop just as a PNG. I don't see too much room for improvement here. I think we can. Yeah, awesome. Let's go. So here's our type in Photoshop, looking nice and lovely. Very, very cool. Let's get Labusi in here. Beautiful. And then we can do select subject. And let's hope that Photoshop's mastermind AI are able to detect the outline of this strange character. Okay, so we've got the... all right, let me just refine this. You don't need to watch this. Something I've actually found really useful is the object selection tool, which just kind of, once you've done like a select subject, you can kind of go around, like I'm holding Alt here. And if I want to get rid of these legs, I can just kind of do that. And then it will do it if I just hold Alt and minus that away. It just means that you don't have to go through and do that annoying, like, I don't know, pen tool or whatever you want to do just to get that super refined edge. I can't really be bothered doing all that. So I like just being able to, you know, go boom, boom, boom. Not really working up there, but you get the idea. Okay, so now we have Labusi cut out onto that background. It's a pretty rough cut. I'm going to be completely honest. It needs to just like be tightened up a little bit, but you know, this is straight from a TikTok. First thing we want to do is make it look like Labusi is kind of holding on. And we can either do that, I'm thinking by like dropping it down and grabbing onto like here could be nice. Really liking the composition of this one so far. I'm a big fan of like a big diagonal kind of piece of type going across the bottom like this, and I think that looks really good. So let's get Labusi holding on to this edge now maybe. Just gonna hold control and move some of these around. It might warp the image a little bit, but I don't think it should warp it enough to make a huge difference to the image. So what we can then do is just hold control on Labusi's thumbnail there, and then we can just go into our eraser tool, and all I want to do is just get rid of this arm, just to give it a little bit of extra depth, so we can just erase the type there, or you can do a mask if you would like, but I'm committed to this. I'm committed to not making any change of mind stuff, so we're going to use the eraser tool and commit to it. If we just add a new layer over the top, fill it in with like a nice cream color that I got ready here, and then do something like a darker color, what that'll do is just make that any kind of like parts of the design that are like white, that are lighter than the cream there, are now going to be filled in with the cream, which just means that Labusi is going to blend in a little bit more. We can also change the levels now again, so we can get even more of that cream kind of shining through, which I think will just look better. It will just make it look a little bit more in place. It's also just boost the saturation for no reason, just because I think it'll be funny. I think Labusi might need a little black outline just to match the rest of the design that we've got going here. So let's just see what happens if we add a 1 pixel stroke. It's a little bit choppy, but we'll keep that as a layer style just in case. But it's okay. It's not too bad. And I also now just want to add a few extra things going around. So I'm thinking like a block of text up here might be nice. Some sort of like map in the background, like of the metro maybe, or like a bus could be cool too. I think a bus could be really good. So let me just quickly add a few of those things now that the main part is done, and I'll maybe do it and then talk you through it afterwards. We'll see. I added a few little things, so as you can see, I've got some text at the back here. This is just from an article about things to know about the Spanish bus system, which I thought was interesting, so I just would chuck that in there. We've got a few little symbols down here. This is Catalonia, the state map of Catalonia, where Sabadell is located, which is, of course, where La Bussi is the mascot of the Sabadell bus system. We've got another La Bussi kind of type here that I've thresholded and chucked in a circle, which I think is cool. And then my little logo there as well. And then I just put a gradient map. Well, I thresholded La Bussi first, and then I put a gradient map over the top to give us this nice kind of like two-color effect. The only thing I'm thinking now is that we could do a little bit of like chromatic aberration potentially on La Bussi, which I think could be interesting. A blue on one side, then a green on the other. So if I just fill this in here, I mean, that blue absolutely pops on its own. So I've just made those blue parts blue, and as you can see, if we just move it a little bit to the side, we get that kind of blue edge, which is nice there. We can then duplicate it again, move the same in the other direction, and then we can probably just change the hue of this one, I think, to a green, and that should give us our desired effect. Move the brightness down, maybe. That doesn't work the way I wanted it to. Just a little bit of something extra, you know. It's very, very subtle, so it's not really too noticeable, but that's kind of what I want, right? I don't want to take away. I'm pretty happy with the design and the composition as a whole, so I don't want anything to take away from it too much. But yeah, otherwise I think that's pretty much done. I'm happy with like the little bit of negative space here and here, and I think that's looking pretty complete. So I'll just merge everything now. We'll add a simple little texture over the top of it all. And there you go. I think that's a completed design. I'm very, very happy with how this one turned out. That text is popping off the page there. I love the 3D effect that we've got going on. La Bussi turned out really well, and I like all the extra details. The only thing is I don't really like... I wanted to go with a different font than usual. Usually I go with the sans serif, and I went for like a mono kind of like typewriter style font in the background here, which I think is cool. It will grow on me, I think. It's just something a little bit different, and I think that's fun. So yeah, cool design. Let's put that one away and move on to the next one. This next TikTok is from an account called Anzology. This is an all-time classic. This is done, and this was a 2021. This is like a year and a half ago now. But this popped up on my feed again recently, I think on Twitter, and I would love to make a design around this one. Have a listen, have a watch.
5 Whoppers and 5 more Whoppers.
Simple comedy, doesn't get much better than that. Absolutely love it, and I think we can definitely do something with this. So let's let me tell you through what I'm thinking for this one. So I'm thinking this one can be nice and simple. We have the text, 5 Whoppers and 5 more Whoppers, and then we have like that image of the crown embedded into the design somewhere, and maybe like a cool kind of vintage style. Also wouldn't mind doing like some kind of old like Burger King kind of advertisement style. I think they fell into that vintage poster that's very much on trend recently. I don't know if what I'm saying, this kind of stuff, you know, this is very like popular now, this kind of style of design, and I think it could be cool to choose like a font like this and kind of go down that direction. I think could be a lot of fun. Fun fact, we don't have Burger King in Australia. We have Hungry Jack's. Isn't that so interesting? There you go. So let's get some text going saying 5 Whoppers. They do still call them Whoppers here. That is the thing. They do still call them Whoppers. So thank God. Now we can either use a classic like Cooper Black, or we can do something like New Spirit is a pretty good vibe too. Probably too modern though. I feel like I know a font that is very similar to this. Let me just find it. Okay, so I couldn't really... I mean, I found the font that I was looking for. I've literally spent like the last 15 minutes looking for this. And it's a font called Soap, but the issue is that Soap, at least the Adobe Fonts version, only has a full caps version to it, which is you know, a little bit frustrating. That's okay. So it's not exactly what I'm looking for. We might just have to go with Cooper. I mean, it's not the end of the world or anything. We might just stretch it out a little bit, potentially. There we go. Cooper with a little bit of extra height to it is quite nice. 5 more whoppers underneath it. And then we just got to figure out kind of how this is going to slot together, I guess. I'd love it if... Let's see what happens when we do and there. So we got an issue here, everyone. This is an issue that happens to me all the bloody time, where the lower things hit the upper things, and that pisses me off, if I'm being honest. And I swear I used to have like a bunch of creative ways to fix it, but right now this is as creative as we're going to get. So we're just going to not center it. How about that? And then what if we just... pop that down the bottom here. Maybe for the word more, we can do something. We can do something else. How about that? That could be fun. Like a script font. I think that's very cool and modern, I think. I'm liking where this is going. I think this is quite a fun little block of text here. And I think there's definitely stuff we can do with this if we're going to structure in like the crown and stuff like that. We can either have this kind of like as a small bit of bottom text down here maybe, and then do like a block of text there, could be fun, or we drag it out and we extend it across the full thing and we do like a big block of text here, which is kind of what I'm more leaning to. So let me try, and then we can have some like logo stuff down here, you know, and then the crown can be like kind of sitting here, you know. Do we see my vision? Are we seeing it? Do you see what I see through my eyes? Let's just get some Apple Garamond Light and a nice text box here. And then we can tap, I think, well, we can just use the direct selection tool, I believe, and we should be able to just drag each of these anchor points and create our own kind of custom little text box, which could be cool. So let's try, let's see where this journey takes us. And that's looking quite cool as a little block of text. I think this structure is turning out really nicely, actually. I'm pleasantly surprised. So we can save the bottom left for some logos. Like let's chuck in that old Burger King logo, I think. And that could be like a good starting point, I think, for adding that kind of crown in. What could be fun as well, I'm thinking, if we want to go on like a little bit of a modern take, is maybe like I draw the crown on top of it or something. I think that could look really cool. Let's try that. Okay, so here is a very poorly image traced Burger King crown. Don't ask why I image traced it. I just did. Okay. So let's get our little pencil tool, I think, and we're just going to loosely kind of draw over the top of this to see if that gives us a cool looking design. Interesting. I think it works. Probably could be better, but it does the trick for now. So either we just color this in with like a red or something, not the fill, but the stroke rather. We just make it all kind of red, maybe bump it up to like a 3. It's a nod to how simple the comedy is, you know, how simple it is. But I just kind of think it would look better if we had an image of the actual crown. Let's try that. Okay, so the crown looks good when we threshold it. I think it might be good just to have over like this part here maybe, and not the entire design. It could just be cool, like a small nod, you know, like this little crown is just here. And then we could actually have like an image of people, I don't know, eating Burger King or something. Let me find that. I've actually instead gone with 5 images of, 5 Whoppers, I guess. I think that's kind of like better. It kind of doesn't have the 5 more Whoppers in it, but what if we did like, if we just grouped it all together and then shrunk it down? Could we add 5 more Whoppers? But we need to make these look all vintage and stuff. So let's merge it all together and then add noise, I guess? I mean, noise is the easy way, but there must be... I guess I just need to slap some textures on top of the whole thing, don't I? I want to keep the crown. We might keep the crown and have it like sitting over here. How about that? That's nicer. Yeah, that's quite nice. That's good. That's good. Much better. Much better. And now we can just put textures over the entire thing. So once again, we're adding a little newspaper texture here over the top of all of it. Set it to darken. Looks pretty good. Go in, add some more of the inverse ink and set that to what? Screen. And there we go. We're getting a little bit more of that vintage style coming through. We just need the Whoppers to be a little bit more vintagey, I guess. So I think maybe if we turn down the saturation a little bit, or maybe turn up the saturation. Yeah, up actually. I think has definitely got that vintage kind of style to it. I've just added a medium dots mezzo tint, which has definitely done a pretty good job at getting that vintage style. But I think it's maybe a little bit too much. What happens if we take one of these Whoppers and then at a higher like resolution, add that mezzo tint, and then we were to shrink it down? How does that look? How will that look? There we go. That's the effect that we want. And then we can do the same thing with the crown. I know it has the older logo on it, but honestly, whatever. I think we may have a completed design. Let's merge everything together, slap a bunch of noise on top because why not? Pump the saturation a little bit more, maybe adjust the hue. I think our design is complete. How about that? Nice stuff. This one turned out really well. Wow. Really, really happy with like the type combo we got going on here. I like the more a lot. Definitely, you know, gets that enunciation of the TikTok in there too, which I think is cool. Turned out so much better than I was expecting. So let's move on to our final design. 2 fantastic designs, 1 more to go. Our final TikTok is from the account Dog Mum Moles. Let's see what this one is.
Help! 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 Help!
All right, probably the weakest of the 3. However, it is the mandatory animal TikTok. So funny. I really, really think that the way that this dog barks is so interesting. And I think it would be perfect to make a TikTok about this dog and its strange bark. So let's do that. So for this one, I don't have too many ideas, which may be interesting. Who knows how this design is going to turn out. But what I do know is that this dog's eyes are fantastic. They're massive. They could quite possibly be the biggest eyes I've ever seen on a dog. And I've seen a lot of dogs on TikTok. Personally, a cat person. Do love a dog, don't get me wrong, but was born with cats. That's how it works. So I'm thinking it could be fun to mess around with the eyes a little bit. So if we're just going to do something very simple, which is just a little, I just want to see how they look if we threshold them. So let's check that out. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. There we go. That's more still. The third one's always the weird one, and that's okay. That's why it's fun. We're going to go into our filter gallery here and then do a halftone pattern filter, which will give us a very cool and interesting effect, as you can see with like the little dots and the halftone style thing. It's so simple. It's just here. Did you know that? We have the dog, but we're getting carried away here with the eyes. We need to do something with the text. So let's go back into Illustrator for no reason. Now, the owner of the TikTok thinks that the dog is saying root.
Oh.
However, I'm much more of a believer that the dog is saying woot.
Oh.
You know, it's like a wolf, but it comes out with the T at the end. There's definitely a T at the end. So we're going to go with this because I think I'm correct.
Oh.
And I want to find a cool way of kind of combining 2 of these woots together in a way, either in 2 different fonts, which could be nice, or something to incorporate the kind of the dog that we've got there. It could be good to have the dog eyes kind of like in the middle maybe, and then having like woot woot on top and the bottom. I actually don't know where I want to go with this. Could be cool maybe to do something hand drawn as well. What if we get like a yellow background for this one? See, there we go. That's giving me something. Oh, there we go. And then what if we got like a cool brush maybe, made it really quite small, and then added on a new layer. Let's do it with the freeform pen tool actually, because what this means is that we'll just be able to change the size of the stroke a lot easier in post, just in case I change my mind. So isn't this just looking like very kind of funny? Like unnecessarily like cinematic in a way, you know? Like would kind of like coming here, you know what I mean? Like I like that. I like how kind of it sits on and off the plane, I guess, right? Yeah, how it's kind of like sitting on the edge there. That's cool. And then it just needs something like up here. Once again, a block of text. Maybe that's our like running motif, you know, like some kind of block of text in the corner. See, that block of text looks really nice up there, you know, just like a nice simple sans serif. How about that? So we can duplicate it as well and just kind of like take out most of it. Very simple, but it's working out really well. Let's go all the way to the edge with this border, see if that gives me any more ideas. All the way to the edge is a more of a choice, you know, it just feels more deliberate, which I like a lot. We can also go in and, like I was saying before, we should just be able to change the stroke size here to like 5 pixels if we want, which we can do just to give it a bit more of a maybe like handwritten feel. Increase the size. Cool. And then once again, I'd like to add a few little things on the top here. I mean, I like it being as empty as it is. It could be good just to have just to date it for some reason, you know? There we go. We can have the date of when it was made and the word TikTok, which I think is a nice touch. Oh, this is a tricky one. That looks really cool there. If we take out, what does that look? Oh, I like that a lot. I do indeed like that. Oh, I just don't know if that works better or worse. Now this is going in an interesting direction. We're definitely not going to do anything of any of these, but it's nice to know. I mean, that looks pretty cool. I think we'll go with the simple. Yes. This is nice. This is nice. And that is that. I also like want to make like, this looks like a movie poster or something. So I want to make like a film festival poster thing. Elliot Fest, let's put this in like a, maybe just like a fixture expanded regular. Center that, move up the spacing a little bit, and then we can just add like a oval around it. How about that? I think I'm pretty content with that in terms of the basic parts of the design. I think all it might need is just a little bit of texture. I also wonder if this text block could be more interesting if we tuck it in here, in that little gap there. No, keep it on the grid. Yes, keep it on the grid. For once in my life. Okay, and after messing with the levels and a few other things, we have this really nice, bold, yellow-orange kind of color. And that design looks pretty sick. That turned out really well too. These were some sick designs. I am absolutely over the moon with how these turned out. How about I give you a little HD rundown of all of these designs, eh? Let me show you them in nice HD color, all mocked up and stuff, all right? Enjoy these. And look at that. It's almost nighttime. That was like 2.5 hours worth of designing or something, probably crunched down into like a 20-30 minute video. Good job, team. Each of them were different in their own way, but they also feel like they could work really well together as a trio. If you're in need of inspiration, this is the go. Just look at your like TikToks and then just be like, I'm gonna make something inspired by that, because honestly, these were fantastic pieces of inspiration for me today. I feel like I've been in a slump recently when it comes to like making designs I'm actually happy with, and this was a real nice pick-me-up. But yeah, I think that'll do it for today's video. If you like stuff like this, let me know. If you want me to return to like more Design Chef stuff, I mean, obviously it depends. If this video like blows up or something, then I'll keep doing stuff like this. But like, obviously, if you want me to, I want to listen to you. So if you have ideas for videos and things that you want to see me do, specifically like things like, you know, like making designs of my Animal Crossing villages, making designs for my like TikToks, like sets of 3 things are really fun. I've been wanting to do making designs based on my Neopets video in a while, but I haven't been able to log into my old Neopets account, which is really devastating. But if you have ideas for that, like sets of 3, I really like doing those. So let me know. If you enjoyed watching my design process and want to have a more active part in saying how I design, then come along to my Twitch stream. I did a Twitch stream just before I made this video, actually filmed this video. So I do them quite often now, which is cool. And I make designs on my Instagram page. So come along to those. They're really fun. I also hope to be doing a few YouTube live streams soon as well, because Twitch is kind of dying. So probably a good idea. If you would like to buy a print of mine, then I just added a bunch of new prints to my print store, which you can see at elliotthasacoolstore.com. There's a lot going on over there. Check it out. Check all the new prints out. Oh, they're so cool. Oh my God. It's so many new things. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you liked the little change of pace. And, cause I did. And, I will see you next week, for something else. Who knows what we'll do? We'll see. All right. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.